Howdy, y'all. I'm going to go over the guided project for Word Chapter 2. But I have to have a brief interlude here because every time I say howdy, I grew up watching Hee Haw because my daddy loved country music. And there was a lady named Minnie Pearl, and she always started the show like this. And I'm going to show you because it's just great. All right, you might not have enjoyed that as much as I did, but I said howdy just one too many times. And it is the official greeting of Texas A&M, so it's okay for an Aggie to say howdy. So howdy, Word Chapter 2, Guided Project. So our first step is to go to Content. And the last one I did was Word Chapter 1, so I'm right there. And I'm going to go to Word Chapter 2. And I'm going to go to my checklist, and I'm going to go down to complete the guided project. And right here is the video I'm doing. How is that possible? Through the magic of technology. And here we go on the guided project. First step is download your materials. Again, the instructions are always first. The student file is always second. And our supplementary documents or pictures or whatever they are, they're always third. So I just click download, 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 download. And when they're all downloaded, I close that dialog box. And the first one I downloaded, there were 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be the instructions. I'm going to pop them over into the next screen so that I can pop up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Right there. And of course, when I do that, I should get used to this. It pops it over there with the one I just popped over. All right. Now, again, I would like for you to go ahead and read what it says at the beginning so that you have an idea of why you would perform a task like this. It says this semester you're enrolled in a personal finance course at your local university. One of the assignments is to write a research paper about investing. You conducted research on various types of investing instruments and wrote a final draft of the report. In the following project, you will format the document to enhance readability and appearance. You will create, modify, and apply styles, apply bullets and numbering, and insert 2 pictures into the document. For the purposes of grading, you're required to perform these tasks. And again, it tells you what the point value is. Now, I would tell you that when you are taking a test, you look at the point values for everything and you focus on those big point values. And if you don't know how to do something, unfortunately, sometimes one step is dependent upon the previous step. So you will not be able to complete it if you haven't done the previous steps. But pay attention to these high point values. So download, ensure that non-printing character is displayed. I'm going to pop this back over to the other screen. We can tell right away that the non-printing characters absolutely are displayed. But I'm going to show you again, it's this little backward P here. And we click it to turn it off and on. So off shows how it will print. Again, they're non-printing characters. So it wants us to ensure that the insertion point is on the first line of the document, and we are going to most effectively do that by pressing Control, press Home. So, Control Home, and I know, oh well, my focus was in the instructions, and it put me right at the very beginning of the instructions. You will be happy to know. So I'll click here and then do Control Home. Now, my cursor is blinking right there on the first line. This is actually inside the header, not on the first line. And then it wants us to create a paragraph style and name it title _ page _ 1. And then it specifies the paragraph. So here we are in the Home tab, and we have styles right here. And these are paragraph styles. And if I click the drop-down box here, create a style. So here's where I type my style name, title _ page _ 1. And there we go. It's actually showing what that looks like at the moment. Now we want to go into modify because that's where we're actually going to select the characteristics. It wants it 22 points, so 22. A font color of dark blue, text 2, darker 50%, and it says it's the fourth column in the last row. So our color, fourth column in the last row. 1, 2, fourth column, last row. And it's supposed to be dark blue, text 2, darker 50%, blue accent 1, darker 50%, dark blue, text 2, darker 50%. That is the fourth. Apparently I can't count. So there we go. And sometimes those tooltips do not want to pop up. But there it does. Give it a moment. Has to think about it. The new style is applied to the first line of the document, personal finance, and then OK. And it's because our cursor was in this paragraph. I did not have to highlight personal finance in order for it to be applied to the entire paragraph. Because it is a paragraph format, it's actually held in the paragraph mark at the end of the paragraph. And putting your cursor anywhere in a paragraph and applying a paragraph style applies it to the entire paragraph. Okay, then we want to click the line following by updated by and type Laura Sims. We want to hit SC. Laura Sims. And it wants us to change the case of Laura Sims to uppercase. So I can go here, and here's case. Sorry, change case, uppercase. There we go. Now, I can change it back because technically I did type it. I could have typed it uppercase, but if you type it uppercase, it's going to count it wrong, and you're going to lose the points associated with that instruction. So we want to select the text from the line beginning with personal finance through the end of the document. Beginning with personal finance, right there, through the end of the document. And we want to justify the text. If you hover over these, it tells you that to justify. Justify means that it has a straight margin on both sides. And we want to apply line spacing of 1.15. So I'm going to go to paragraph here, line spacing, guess what? We go to, okay, I always forget this because we have paragraph here and we have line spacing right here, but guess what? We do not have 1.15 here, which I just think that's wrong, but whatever. I'm going to hit cancel, and you want to actually go to line spacing right here, and it does put it at 1.15. So we want now the insertion point or the cursor on the left side of personal finance below Laura Sims and insert a page break, not a section break. So personal finance, we're looking for right there, and we want to insert a page break. Now, I've shown you how to do it by insert page break, but you can also do it Control Enter, and it does exactly the same thing. So there's my page break. And then I want to apply heading 1 style to personal finance at the top of page 2. It's at the top of page 2, personal finance. I do not have to highlight it. I go to the Home tab and I apply heading 1 style to it. And then I want to apply heading 2 style to the paragraph headings introduction. So heading 2. Equity stocks and bonds. I think I missed equity stocks. There we go. Equity stocks. Heading 2. Bonds. Heading 2. Mutual funds, U.S. Treasury bills, mutual funds, U.S. Treasury bills, fixed deposit sources and conclusions. And conclusion. And then it asks us to modify heading 2 style. And I want to show you the magic of styles. There are so many reasons to use styles. One of which that is not emphasized right now is that it is important for accessibility because screen readers then, oh, come on, give me a break. My cursor keeps going back and forth from the instructions to here. So I'm going to, there we go. Now we can see a whole bunch of those headings at the same time. So I'm going to go to heading 2 and I'm going to right click it and hit modify. And now it wants us to use dark red font color, the first color under standard colors. So I'm going to change here and then standard colors and dark red and OK. And it applies it to all of them because they have been designated as being heading 2 style. And that's great, you know, if you have a teacher and her favorite color is lavender and you decide that you just want to put lavender in there to make her happy, then you go ahead and do that. But that might not necessarily be professional, so make sure that it doesn't take away from the message of your document. Okay, it wants us to select the first 6 paragraphs in the introduction section on page 2, beginning with equity stocks and ending with fixed deposits. So I'm going to, okay, beginning with equity stocks. These are paragraphs, and you don't think about them as being paragraphs because it's a list. But anything that is followed by the paragraph mark is technically a paragraph. And that is an important thing to understand. So it wants us to select them and add a diamond bullet to the selected text. And it wants to use the default diamond that's made up of 4 diamond shapes in the bullet library. So we go up here to the bullets, and it's this one. There we go. And now it wants us to, I'm on instruction number 10, select the second paragraph in the introduction section beginning with the best time to prepare for your retirement. Introduction, the best time to prepare for your retirement. And apply these formats. So those are paragraph formats. I'm going to open up the paragraph dialog box. And it wants 0.6 left and right indent. So indentation right here, 0.6. 0.6, oh, 3.6, not 0.6. 0.6. 0.6. Okay, 0.6. Left and right, and 6 point spacing after paragraph. So space after right here, and I don't like to use the radio buttons over here. I like to actually just type it. And there's another instruction on the next page, but of course it won't let me go there while that dialog box is open. So I'm going to scroll down to the next page and bring those up. And the next instruction is a boxed 1.5 point border using dark blue, text 2, darker 25%, and then it tells us it's the 4th column, 5th row. So I'm going to go to borders here, and I'm going to go down here and open up the whole borders and shading because I just like dealing with it this way. Pay attention here that it says that it's applying it to the paragraph because I'm in a paragraph. And so I want 1.5 points. So I'm going to choose 1.5 points right there. And then I'm going to use dark blue, text 2, darker 25%, dark blue, text 2, darker 50%, dark blue, text 2, darker 25%, and shading. So there, I've got that selected, and then I go to shading, and I want to choose dark blue, text 2, lighter 80%. So it should be in the same column, lighter 60%, lighter 80%. There we go, and hit OK. I don't think our border showed up. I'm going to go back to borders and shading, 1.5 1.5 points, color automatic, so there. And because I have none selected here and I need box. There we go, and you can see now on my little icon that shows me what it's going to look like. It's showing both the border and the shading. Okay, there we go. That's the way it's supposed to look. Now, we want to select in instruction number 12, the 3 quotes by Warren Buffett and the source paragraph in the equity stocks section, and display the selected text in 2 columns with a line between the column. Okay, so it is the 3 quotes and the source in the paragraph in equity stocks section. So let's go to the equity stocks. Here's our section. Okay, Warren Buffett has several quotes, and here we go. We have got the 3 quotes and the source. So I highlight them, and then I go to layout, columns, and I have to go to more columns because I can get 2 columns there, but I'm not going to get the line in the middle unless I go into more columns. And then I'm going to select 2, and then I'm going to select line between. Okay, look at that. Pretty cool beans. Now it wants us to insert the picture file. I wish it would say at the beginning of the line that contains, you know, the major stock market and equity stocks section. Okay, so I'm going to equity stocks was up above us. So it says that it wants to insert it at the beginning of the line that contains the major stock market right here. At the beginning of this line, it wants us to insert this picture. So I'm going to go to insert pictures, and it's one of the ones we downloaded, and so it's going to be in downloads, and this is why I like to do this, because it's always in the same place when you're doing your exercises, and I would like for you not to spend a lot of time with the process and be able to actually master the concepts that you're learning. So this one's the bowl one is that we want, and I'm just double clicking and it inserts it. And then it wants to change the height of the picture to 3 inches. So I'm going to go to size and position and height, width. All right, so we've got our height here and our width here, and we want to lock the aspect ratio. If something ever tells you to do something strange, you make the change to this number and it doesn't do what you want. So it wants this to be, change the height of the picture to 3, that's the height. And when I hit tab, it's going to change the width because we have lock aspect ratio selected here. And that means that the ratio of the height to the width is going to stay the same when I change the size of it. Okay. We're going to hit OK on, oh, text wrapping is here too. So we can do text wrapping. We can also do text wrapping on this little icon right here. So if that was the only thing that you were going to do, you could change it right there, but we have this dialog box. And we want it top and bottom wrapping. So we're going to do top and bottom. We want to align the picture so that it's centered horizontally relative to the margin. So I'm going to go to position, and relative position is going to be, no, not what I want. Alignment. I want alignment center relative to the margin. There we go. Okay, now it wants rounded diagonal, so the other things that it wants. So that is going to be one of these styles, and it says it is rounded diagonal corner white picture style. So rounded diagonal corner, I think maybe that, let's see, nope, that's beveled perspective. Rounded diagonal corner, rounded diagonal corner white, that is mine. There we go. And position the picture so that it appears below the equity stocks heading. So the easiest way to do that is just to arrow down. You're going to arrow down. You can drag it. And you may have to drag it because my arrowing is not working. So now it is below the equity stocks. Now we're on instruction number 12, and it wants the bearer inserted at the beginning of the line that contains if you want something less risky. So I can do Control F. Up, I could be better off doing it with my focus in the correct document. So focus means that that's where my cursor is, and that's where the focus of my actions is. So currently the focus of my actions is in the instructions and not over here. So now when I do Control F and I look for if you want or if you want, if you want something less risky, isn't that faster than actually going and looking for it? So we want to insert it at the beginning of that line. So I'm going to click in front of the if. There we go. And I'm going to insert the picture. Insert pictures and bear. There we go. There's my picture. It wants to change the height of it to 3 inches. So I'm going to go to size and position. I'm going to change the height to 3. Tab. I don't have to put inches in. It's going to default to inches. And top and bottom text wrapping, top and bottom. Let's see. Okay. Okay. And then it wants us to apply the offset center shadow picture effect. Picture effects, look, it didn't say style, it said picture effects. All right. The offset, so here under shadow, offset center. Offset center, yay, first time. Okay, it happens sometimes. And position the picture so that it appears below the bonds heading. So I'm going to just drag it a little bit, and there it's below the bonds heading. Spell check and review the entire document. No author names are misspelled. So I'm going to go to review, spelling and grammar. Yes, I want you to start at the beginning. Guarantee, I definitely want that to say guarantee. Change, change. That's an author's name. Ignore. I want it to say healthy. Change. I want it to say accumulation, because the singular is correct in this case. That is not misspelled, and this says that it's only on an 8.7 grade level, which is kind of sad considering the topic. Now we want to display the document in outline view, and this is also a really cool part about heading 1 and heading 2. So I'm going to go to outline view, and so it tells us to collapse all headings so that only lines formatted as heading 1 or 2 show. So I can click on that and hit minus, and it collapses it. Minus, minus, minus. Alrighty. Now it says to move the sources below the conclusion section. So this is really cool beans. Look how easy that is. That is so much easier than selecting a whole bunch of text and having to move it around. So yay for outline view, and yay for the power of setting heading 1, heading 2, and the levels of the document. Now we want to save the document, exit Word, and submit the file as directed. So I'm going to hit the X. It's going to ask me if I want to save it, and I'm going to say yes, I do want to save it. I'm going to go back here, choose the file. I'm going to click. So first of all, you may open this up and you may not see this view. Right here is our view, and I always work in the details view because I want to be able to click by date modified twice to bring the last thing that I worked on up to the top. and see that at 2:43 I saved it. It is now 2:44. I know that that is the last thing I did. Double click it, upload. That will save you a lot of grief, because I can't tell you how many times, because I've taught this course face-to-face for 3 semesters now to 10th graders who are taking their first dual credit college course, and they have had untold moments of grief because they get a 0 and I tell them, you submitted the wrong file, pumpkin pie. And there we go, submit for grading and close the assignment. And that concludes our demonstration of guided project for Word Chapter 2.